what's going on, everyone? So Darvin Ham was atrocious, right? He was just in over his head more times than not. Talked heavily about when he was able to stay in his box, right? Being able to coach in the areas in which he is familiar with. Basically, he only knew what he was taught. And anytime he had to branch out of what he was taught, he just was unable to do so. And it became a real problem, right? Like you see the season in which we got to the conference finals, right? In the first two rounds against the Grizzlies and then the Warriors, he was able to stay in his box. And he looked good. He looked really good, right? Like people were like, oh man, this guy is actually might do something, right? Let us to the conference finals. Let's go. But then he ran into the Denver Nuggets and got outcoached and greatly outcoached. And on top of him getting outcoached, he just looked like he had no answers for anything because he wasn't able to stay in his box. Things started going south and he had to come up with a new scheme, a new game plan, and he just was unable to do so. And then you add in the fact that all the talks and rumors that he wasn't very good in the preparation and just preparing for teams game in and game out. You really saw that, particularly against Denver, right? Now, look, even this past season, it wasn't all Darvin Ham, but he didn't do the Lakers any favors at all. And he was awful, right? Earlier in the season, I defended him, right? Because he just led the team to the conference finals. We just got, again, essentially a new roster. We got 5 to 7 new players, right? And then plus you're trying to kind of figure out the pieces that you had last season, right? So early on, he's experimenting a little bit and he's trying different things. And, it was like, okay, hey, let's see how this goes. And then you're dealing with injuries and stuff. So, so many people were just, oh, he's terrible, he's trash, he's this, he's that. But I'm like, hey, we have a winning record, right? Yeah, Lakers have their struggles, they have their issues, consistency problems are an issue, but this is the time to kind of work all that out. And then you go and you win the in-season tournament, and he was great in that, and he looked good, and he even made some adjustments and did some things, and you were like, okay, let's go, right? Like, here we go. And then it was just like he decided to almost like sabotage everything. Right? He starts going and throwing out these weird rotations and these weird lineups and, playing Taurean Prince 40 minutes a game. And, and we end up losing 10 out of 13 games. And it cost us. It cost us mightily, right? Because if we would have won half of those games, we would have been the 4th seed. But instead, we lost all those games, right? And a lot of that, again, it was on the players, but it was also on Darvin Ham and his decision-making and lack thereof. And then you get into the playoffs again against Denver. Again, it wasn't all on him, right? Like, where was Rui that series? Where was, Austin Reeves before Game 4? Where was D'Lo in half of those games, right? Like, there was a lot of things that you can point to and go, it was a culmination. But again, Darvin Ham didn't do the Lakers any favors. He was terrible. He seemed out of his element. And every game was the exact same thing, which also was the exact same thing the year prior, which tells you that he just didn't make any adjustments. He didn't make any changes. You're up double digits and you lose a game. It happens. You brush it off. You write it off. You go, just, it was a rough game. You take that on the chest, take the L on the chin. No biggie, right? But to do it 4 times out of 5 games in which you're up double digits, and it was always in the second half, which tells you one team went in the half and made adjustments, and one team went in the half and made none. And now I get it's hard when you're up 20 going into halftime. It's hard to go, we should change a bunch of stuff up. But you need to be prepared for their adjustments. And if you're a good coach, you have an idea of what the opposing team is going to try to do. Right? You might not know exactly what they're going to do, but you have an idea. Okay, these are the areas we're just torching them on, right? Like they're going to need to adjust these areas. Otherwise, we're going to beat them by 40, right? And so okay, well, when they make that adjustment, what's the game plan? And that's where the problem lied with Darvin Ham. And I could go on with Darvin Ham, but the reason I'm talking about this and bringing this up is because of JJ Redick, right? JJ Redick is going to be the head coach of the Lakers. And by the way, I also really like JJ Redick's coaching staff. I think that the Lakers actually did a wonderful job putting together a quality, competent coaching staff that has great diversity in the basketball sense, and are different. Like, one of the things I talked about is the collection of minds, right? Having the different perspectives, right? You have guys that approach the game in different manners, even on the defense and offensive side, or you just have people that can come in and, hey, what about this? What about that? Right? And you kind of have this brain trust in which you're able to look at the game from multiple angles. And the beauty of JJ Redick is, unlike Darvin Ham, he's not married to a specific idea or scheme, right? Like, he has what he wants to do and what he believes is best. And I imagine that the Lakers are going to do that. But I also think if certain elements aren't working, I think he's going to look at the numbers, he's going to look at the data, I think he's going to look at the information, and he is going to do what is necessary in order to correct the areas in which need to be improved on. Right? Now, again, he's also shown the ability to properly execute with the X's and O's, right? Which something Darvin Ham struggled with. Now, obviously, he's got to be able to manage the game, manage the egos, right? Call timeouts, get the rotation locked in. I'm sure early on there will be some experimentation, which again is fine. First 20 games are kind of your filling out games, right? First 20 games or so, you're really trying. I mean, obviously you want to win as many games as possible, particularly in the Western Conference. But, you'll see all teams kind of, they'll throw out a rotation that you're kind of like, why are they doing that? And it's because they're trying to see, like, okay, these are our best five, but, who else works with them? What does this lineup look like, right? Like, and I do think that JJ Redick is going to really capitalize and maximize some of these guys' just abilities, right? Like, and another big thing that it drove me absolutely insane with Darvin Ham, that I think JJ Redick's going to be much better in, is proper slotting and utilization of players, right? Like, I truly believe that JJ Redick is going to play guys in their proper slots, right? And also will utilize them correctly. Where, like, Rui, right? Christian Wood, Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, these were all guys that I highlighted heavily all season long about just how poorly Darvin Ham utilized them and how they were constantly out of position. And I don't think you're going to get much of that with JJ Redick. Now, I'm not saying that you're never going to slot them elsewhere, right? Like, I'm not saying you're never going to slot Rui at the 3, or you're never going to have Christian Wood out on the perimeter or anything like that. But again, it's about understanding the right situations and times in which that's best, right? Like, if you're just turning a guy that's 6'10", that has the ability to just go get a bucket around the rim, and on occasion he can shoot the 3 ball, and you turn him into a 3-and-D wing, it's not his game. It's not, right? And the only time he's able to even get to the basket is if he's doing it himself. Or, Rui, like, it's not a coincidence that every one of his best games were him at the 4. I mean, he had a career night when LeBron was out and he got to play the 4. And then, Spencer Dinwiddie, we had a desperate need for a secondary playmaker, particularly off the bench. And instead of using Spencer Dinwiddie to do exactly what he's best at, and go the route of, let's make him a 3-and-D wing, when it's like his exact skill set is what you need. I don't think JJ Redick is going to make those mistakes. I think he'll be better in that regard, and thus the Lakers will be better, period. Right? I have a lot of faith in JJ Redick. Obviously, I don't know either way because we haven't seen him actually coach. He could be terrible, but I really don't think that's the case. Right? Like, he is. The things we know about him are all excellent traits for a head coach. Right? Like, he's manic about just details and, the numbers and, X's and O's and, competitive nature. And he wants to be the best and preparation and all that stuff, right? Like, we know the things that you want your head coach to be. He's all those things. He's comfortable with the media. Doesn't hold his punches, right? Like, I know some people when he was up there and, I don't give a blank, I'm trying to keep it, PC, but, when he's up there cursing and saying all the things that, or keep it PG, when, he's up there cursing and saying all the things that he's saying, I know some people don't like it. I love it. Lakers need a little bit of that, right? I need a little realness, right? Now, is it the most professional? No. But sometimes you need a little unprofessionalism when, Darvin Ham was very like, and just was more like a car salesman at times, which I didn't mind. It's fine, but it didn't translate. Give me the guy that's up. I mean, great. Go watch some of Pop's interviews. Like, come on, man. That guy at times is the least unprofessional guy you ever see. Like, but people love him for it. I'm okay with it as long as it translates, right? If you're out here, being unprofessional, which I don't really think it's that, but some people felt that way. But if you feel that way and he's terrible, then that's not a good combination. But if you feel that way and he's great, guess what? You're gonna look past it. Yeah, who cares? Say whatever you want. Just help us win, right? And I think JJ Redick understands the assignment. I think JJ Redick knows the deal. I think he wants it as bad as anybody, right? I think he wants to prove all the naysayers wrong. I know he says he doesn't care, but I'm sure there's a part of him that is like, nah, like, I'm about to show everybody, right? I need that. I need that guy that just take no BS. That, again, sometimes you need a little grit. Sometimes you need an a-hole in the room, right? Sometimes you need somebody that is about the BS, Sometimes you need that guy that's like, all right, let's run the fade, right? Like, sometimes you need those people, right? Like, so again, I believe that the Lakers are going to be much better, whether they make a trade or not. Now, do I think that they need a trade? Yes. But even as currently constructed, I think you add in the JJ Redick effect. I think you add in what he's going to be able to do for this team, and I think the Lakers are going to be much improved. Much improved. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? I feel, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Do you think JJ Redick's going to be great? Do you think he's not? Do you think he's going to be, somewhere in between? I feel whatever your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.